You're probably sitting there thinking, I need a system that just works, something that will fill my whole house with music, that won't turn my living room into a tech lab, and that actually gives me bang for the buck. I get that. When you're looking at a 6-zone amplifier, the temptation is to get lost in the headline numbers: 100 watts per channel, Airplay 2, Spotify Connect, while the real question is whether it will behave quietly in the background and actually improve the everyday listening experience. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through what matters when you're deciding whether the Juke Plus 6-zone audio amplifier is the right fit for your home. First, a quick reality check. Most people buying a multi-room amp aren't after a lab-grade piece of gear. They want something that can take a handful of speakers, plug into their Wi-Fi, and start playing the playlists they already love. The biggest hesitation I hear is about complexity. Will I need a separate streamer? Do I have to mess with tangled wiring for each room? And then there's the question of value. Does paying a premium for a 6-zone unit make sense if I only plan to use 3 zones most of the time? The Juke Plus tries to answer those worries by being an all-in-one hub. The unit houses a built-in streamer, so you don't need another device to handle Airplay 2 or Spotify Connect. In practice, that means you can walk into your kitchen, ask Alexa to play jazz, and the sound will pop out of the ceiling speakers without any extra hardware in the room. For a family that already has a handful of smart speakers, that convenience translates into one less box to hide behind a bookshelf. If you're a casual listener who mainly streams from your phone or tablet, the multi-user support is a decent perk. Because the amp can handle multiple Bluetooth or Airplay streams at once, you could have one person streaming a podcast in the bedroom while another cues a Spotify playlist for the living room. The unit balances the streams so each zone gets its own feed, and you won't notice a hiccup if both streams are going through the same Wi-Fi network. That's a real-world advantage over older amps that only let one source at a time. Now, who should buy this? The sweet spot is a homeowner or renter who wants full house audio but doesn't want to become an installer. If you have a decent Wi-Fi network, a few in-wall or surface mount speakers, and you already use Spotify or Apple Music, the Juke Plus will slot right in. It's also a good match for apartment dwellers who want to set up separate zones, for example, a speaker in the studio for background music while a bedroom zone handles a wake-up alarm. The built-in support for both Airplay 2 and Spotify Connect eliminates the need for a separate networked streamer, saving both space and cost. On the flip side, if you're an audiophile who measures sound pressure levels in a lab, or if you need a home theater surround setup with Dolby Atmos, this isn't the product for you. The amp is focused on stereo playback across zones, and while 100 watts per channel will drive most bookshelf or wall-mounted speakers just fine, you won't get the headroom or decoding features of a dedicated AV receiver meant for cinema. Likewise, if you have a tiny budget and only need a single-zone solution for a bedroom, the 6-zone capability is overkill and you'll likely end up paying for unused capacity. Let's talk about strengths that matter after you plug the thing in. The first thing I noticed during testing was the streamlined setup process. The unit ships with a short guide that walks you through connecting the power, linking the Wi-Fi, and assigning each of the 6 zones a name. Within 10 minutes, I had a zone named Kitchen playing a Spotify playlist, a living room zone streaming an Airplay 2 feed from my iPhone, and a patio zone ready to receive music from the Juke Plus app itself. No additional accessories were required, which is a big win for folks who want to avoid a tangled mess of extra cables and adapters. Another practical strength is the reliability of the streaming stack. I ran the system for a week, and the Wi-Fi connectivity held steady even when the router was under load from other smart devices. When I switched from a Spotify playlist to a local MP3 library via the Juke Plus app, the transition was seamless, with no dropouts or lag. That consistency is often the difference between a system you forget about and one that becomes a daily habit. Where the Juke Plus shows its trade-offs is in the speaker output options. The amp provides standard speaker terminals for each zone, but there's no dedicated pre-out for a subwoofer in any of the zones. If you want deep bass in the living room, you'll need to either use a speaker that already includes a built-in sub or add a separate powered subwoofer that you feed from the speaker terminals, which can be a bit of a workaround. For many users, especially those with smaller rooms, this